Let's talk about one of the most acclaimed video games of all time, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64 console, released all the way back in 1998. In this game, there is a location called the Fishing Pond in Lake Hylia, where you, playing as Link, can relax and fish to your heart's content. The pond owner allows you in, sells you bait, and lets you go wild. Now, there is a legendary fish in this pond that has been discussed, debated, and searched for as long as people could comment about it online. This is the Hylian loach, the rarest and most sought-after fish in the game. Not only is it hard to find, it's even tougher to catch. So what is the Mandela effect regarding the Hylian loach? Well, it turns out that the Hylian loach doesn't exist in Ocarina of Time anymore. Or at least its name doesn't. What so many people remember as the Hylian loach is now called the Hyrule loach. And I could understand some people never having heard of this before saying, that doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you spent hours of your youth in that pond fishing for this legendary beast, you know this feels weird and wrong. And if you look up Hylian loach online, you'll come across numerous guides, GameFAQ pages, and forum posts from back in the day. Comparatively, there are significantly more search results for the Hylian loach than there are for the Hyrule loach. So is this simply a case of the majority of people online misremembering this legendary fish's name? Or has something changed? Let's dive deep into this topic. Let's check out the official Nintendo Power Player's Guide for The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I'm sure this strategy guide from 1998 will surely solve our mystery. On page 56 and 57, we have an entire spread about Lake Hylia, not Lake Hyrule. So does it mention the loach? Oh yeah. Unfortunately though, it only says this: with the help of a special lure, Link caught the loach, the largest fish the pond has to offer. Meaning this strategy guide mentions the word loach, but not the name that so many people are arguing over. I mean, that's just hilarious. So then I found another strategy guide, an unofficial guide from 1998 by Bradley Games. And it mentions a huge fish called the loach, but again, no exact name. Incredible. So let's investigate further. It turns out that the Hylian loach does appear in another Zelda game, the 2006 Nintendo Wii and Nintendo GameCube versions of The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. In this title, the fish is still sporting the name that so many of us remember, the Hylian loach. In fact, there's even a book in this game, with a joke as a title, called The Legend of the Hylian Loach: Twilight Fish. It's almost like this game is aware of the mystery. Now you might be thinking, okay, these are different fish, who cares? Maybe everyone just got it wrong. But then there is a picture in Twilight Princess of the pond owner from Ocarina of Time holding a Hylian loach. I mean, that's as direct a connection to one another as you could make. So let's look at the timeline here. 1998, it's a Hylian loach, or at least people think it is. It's now apparently a Hyrule loach. Next up is 2006. It's now a Hylian loach. So is there any other evidence or residue that it was once called a Hylian loach before 2006? Because right now it's all based off of memories, a photo in Twilight Princess, and a bunch of online posts, comments, and videos. Upon doing even more research on this stupid fish, I found something really fascinating. I learned that it was mentioned in another of Nintendo's video games. This game is Animal Crossing for the Nintendo GameCube, that was released in 2002. Now, Animal Crossing is one of the most fun and relaxing games ever. Among the many things that you could do in that title, one of those is fish. And if you were lucky enough, you could even catch a loach. Now in that game, it was simply called a loach. But if you did catch one, you'd receive text on screen that read, "I caught a loach. You don't suppose it's Hylian, do you?" And there it is, another Nintendo game making a direct reference to The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time's rare fish and legendary catch. The timing lines up, and the joke only works if everyone thinks that fish is indeed called a Hylian loach. That's right, this text was written after Ocarina of Time, but before Twilight Princess. It is the perfect piece of evidence that at least the localizers and writers at Nintendo of America, the people writing and publishing this game, believe the fish was called a Hylian loach, a name that now doesn't make any sense if there wasn't a Hylian loach until 2006 with Twilight Princess. Why would they make a joke about a Hylian loach if it was never actually called that? Just think about this for a second. There was a fish name in 1998. In 2002, they referenced the fish name, and in 2006 is actually the first time it was ever used now. Why would there be references and jokes to the name that never existed if it didn't exist? In fact, after seeing all this information, I'd argue that the Hylian loach in Twilight Princess was named that because of the original and now seemingly changed name that never existed. This change is the perfect example of a Mandela effect and the weird ripple effect it creates. The original name in the original game was seemingly and miraculously changed, but its effects and lasting impacts weren't.